And by cooking yourself, it helps you to save a lot than if you have to be purchasing like most of the food out, like restaurant and all other kind of things.
Right. And then another funny, you just talked about how funny it was when you threw away the cheese. Another funny part, so, growing up, we did not have microwaves. Well, I think we had it at some point at our house. My auntie was a banker, so we were not doing so bad. We had a microwave at some point, but we were not allowed to use it. So it was sitting there. And because of the way she took health matters so important, she didn't let us use that microwave so much. So I would watch it, would sometimes use it, not so much. So when I just come, the first few weeks, we were at my mother-in-law's house, and they bought me that breakfast burrito. You know how they pack them? So I didn't want to eat it at the moment. I said, I'll keep it in the fridge. I'll warm it a bit later, and then I'll have it. So once I was ready to eat, I got it out. I did not take off that paper. How do they call that? Silver thing.
The aluminum foil, the foil.
The foil. So I just pushed it into the microwave and I started it, and the whole house was almost on fire. I was so embarrassed. I did not know what I had done. Now, I was very lucky that everyone was in the house at that moment, because if I was the only one in the house, I would have just run away. I would have just been like, what's going on? And then the house would have probably caught fire. So I just had a big sound, boom. And of course, it was because of the paper. It was metal, and apparently you can't use metal in the microwave. I did not know all that science. So that was a big shock. I said, hey, so these things are dangerous like this. So, and then another thing was, I had never really seen people celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
I had never seen people celebrate Halloween like people do here. In Uganda, we know about it, we can read about it. You know how it is now, the world is changing. People know things, but we don't celebrate Halloween. So one time, we had just shifted to the new house where we are now, and the neighbors started decorating. They put skeletons, they put a coffin, they put so many of these scary things. Now, one time I'm outside cleaning the compound, and I look around and I look at the neighbor. They had put a big coffin in front of their house at the door. So now I look at I thought somebody had died. So I was so touched. These are nice neighbors. They're really nice. They say hi. So I was like, should I go there and say, sorry, condolence? Tell them my condolences? Should I go there and knock? No. This was so funny. In the evening, when my husband came, because he had gone to work. So when he came back, I said, before you go in the house, I found him in the car. I told him, before you go in the house, let's go and say sorry to these people. They lost somebody. There's a big coffin at the doorstep. He looks over there and he says, honey, that is a decoration for Halloween. Now, I thank God I did not go there. Now imagine if I had knocked on the door to say, who has died? I'm sorry, you have lost somebody. It was just Halloween.
I mean, there are so many things here. It takes time, it takes years to learn. And even the more you stay here, the more you keep learning. That is very interesting. Like one of the things for me, I came from Africa knowing WWE, the wrestlers. That is just the real, how John Cena is in the ring, The Rock, everybody, they're doing the same thing is true. So I came here and my dream was I have to attend in one of the arena, I have to go. So WWE came to my city in West Virginia. So there is one Anglican pastor, lived in Tanzania, is American. So usually wherever Tanzanian come there, so he's just like kind of adopting, you just become like a family friend. So every week you have to meet with him. He's learning Swahili. And So I was saying, like, this is my dream, so I have to go to check it. And so, do you know that is fake? That was the most disappointment I had in America. What, like, I was growing up, like, from that day up to today, I don't watch WWE, like, unless others, maybe it's just a clip coming there, but I don't go, like, I let me go and watch, like, no. And the day I was leaving Virginia to go to California, he had to say, I'm so, among the things I think I was supposed to tell you is it's just like a child telling Santa is not real. That was like how shocking it was. Like, so like I said, how, like, they have the script and knowing that they practice and the person is going to lose, like everything is, why? I thought it's just like boxing. So from that moment, yeah, that was the most disappointing part for me. Okay, another topic I have to ask you is about apart from just like the culture, like how you start the life, most of your work up to this moment is working from home, right? Before the COVID, were you going to the building, or all the time have you been working from home?
I've always worked from home because the fact that I have a child at home, I wanted to just kind of juggle the two, have the child and also work.
Okay. Because I was going to ask you, what is the difference between working in the building, like kind of like the culture, like how you expected, but overall, but what is the expectation for the work here, professionalism versus expectation to professionalism in Uganda and Tanzania? Uganda and Tanzania is more or less the same, or Kenya is almost the same. How does it, what was the change, or what has been the major difference for you, the shift you have seen working in Uganda and now working in American workforce?
Okay, so first of all, in Uganda, most of the jobs pay salary, and that is what I was used to. Like, you wait for your money at the end of the month, you're salaried. And most of the jobs here, they pay you per hour. You can also get a job where they pay you salary, but that is not very common, but it is also available. So for me, the job I do, they pay me per hour. And that means every minute counts. You cannot miss 1 minute. You cannot miss 2 minutes, 5 minutes. You must explain why you are not on the computer. So for me, that was also something new I had to learn. If it is, so usually I begin my work at 10 and end at 4 p.m. So by 10, I must have logged into the computer. Otherwise, it will show that I was late by 5 minutes, by 1 minute, by 2 seconds. So that is something I had to train myself, that time management is key with these jobs. Time management is key, and honesty. If something is going wrong, you must report to the supervisor. You must tell this. You cannot go around the corner like it is in Uganda and just say, well, I was having lunch and the glass broke and, I hurt my leg. You must be able to prove. For them, all they want is proof. You must provide proof that something happened. So that was a big change. I had to know that every minute counts, every hour counts, because in Uganda, my former job, I usually had a break time of 1 hour. Lunchtime, 1 hour. And my lunchtime right now here is 30 minutes. I only have one break, which is 10 minutes throughout the day. And I have a toddler in the background. So you have to have that hustle mind. Like I said in the previous video, you must be ready to make a living. So that's how it is. So the difference was you must time management, and then they pay you per hours compared to how I was paid salary back home. And yeah, basically that's it. That was the major difference. Other than that, as long as you're bringing output, you're able to work. The work is it's not too bad, I would say.
The follow-up question on that. If at the time you were in Uganda, and maybe let's say you are working in the bank, you are working in Uganda Revenue Authority or Social Security Fund of Uganda, obviously those are high status job, kind of that, or you are working in the Attorney General office. with your education, work experience, did you think when you are coming to America, I'm giving an example, you might start with the, I mean, even if they pay well, you might go and do the normal job, or you were thinking that if I go to America with my experience, I'm going to continue with where I left?
So I did business computing, so it is like business and IT. So I wasn't expecting to all of a sudden rise up and, you know, start working as a manager, no. But I thought I would have a job in a similar path, in a similar career. And that wasn't very possible, but, you know, you can build yourself over there, because since I hadn't had experience working in America, I had to start somewhere. You build yourself, your CV, you build your CV to prove that you're able to work here. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But also it's not too bad because the pay is not bad. So I'm really comfortable doing, I do customer service. So I like it for now because of the fact that I have my daughter in the background always. So I cannot afford to have a high-end job for now unless I switch and have somebody take care of her, and then I pay full attention to her.
Yeah. For me, when I came here, obviously the first job was very good because I came under scholarship to teach at the university. So that was 1 year. But even if I was teaching Swahili at the university, I used to work at the Pizza Hut in the student cafeteria. So people, they know this guy is a student, but down the road, like you are going there and you are like your professor, and they call you a professor, and I go, Professor Makudilo, Ernest, whatever. So I was doing that way. So, but when I moved from here, I mean, from West Virginia to California, obviously you continue with other jobs. So yes, as we are saying, even if I was already being in America and I was doing masters, you have masters, but still you have to go building up your resume. So I worked in the warehouses, I worked into restaurants, I worked in like so many different kind of jobs until you become like a position of director. It takes time. So sometimes, yes, you have expectation that I will reach there, but you have to agree to go up as long as in the end you get money. Yeah, compared to in Africa, you cannot say, let me go to the restaurant, they will pay you $20 in a month or $50 in a month. Why should I waste my time with my degree? But here, I mean, I can have 2 jobs and do my hours here in the restaurant, then I go and do in the warehouse. Life goes better. Yeah. So
yeah, and talking about work, this is something, you know, some kind of funny bit also, just to compare the two. So when I started working here, I did not realize that the way they write their date of birth and their date is different from how we write it back home, and the way they pronounce their alphabets is also different from how we pronounce them. So when I started working, you know, when you do customer service, you ask for their name, you ask them to spell their name, you ask them for their date of birth, you ask them for the date when they open their account. So all that details we ask. So one time, and you know, the call comes in and I'm asking them to spell their name, and their name had a Z, which we call a Z, but here in America it's a Z. So having that British background where we call the Z a Z, at first when he spelled it, I thought he was joking. So I said, could you say that again for me, please? And then, you know, let's say it's called maybe Zach, and says Z-A-C-H. And I said, I think this guy is joking. So I put him on hold. I put him on hold, and I had to figure out, like, why is he spelling it like this? Until it dawned on me as like, oh, this is how they say it, because we have a chat where you can ask, you know, in case you're confused or something. And they told me, no, that is it. And everyone was actually shocked that I was shocked, because they don't understand. I am asking about a Z. That's a Z.
Yeah. Up to now, sometimes my kids make a joke